Claude can now learn a skill by watching you work. You record your screen, talk through what you are doing, and Claude turns that demo into a reusable skill you can fire again forever. No prompt, no code. That is the whole game this show has been preaching, and Anthropic just handed you the button. This is Mainframe, your daily guide through the AI chaos, what actually happened, who is winning, and how to take yourself to the next level. It is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. I am Nova.
And I am Dex. Here is the rundown.
On today's Mainframe, record a skill lands in Claude Cowork, the no-code way to teach Claude your own workflow. Claude Code on desktop now drives the iOS simulator, building and running your app while it watches the screen. On your wallet, a new endpoint called Thesean promises. Opus 4.8 and GPT 5.6 soul quality at 50% off from one line of code, and a technique that will change how you write every prompt. Stop stuffing them with examples.
Let's get into it.
Quick honesty note before the board. The voices you are hearing are AI. The reporting, the pics, and the opinions are put together by humans. Now, the board, and we keep it short.
The money map keeps pointing the same direction. Guillermo Rao shared Vercel AI gateway data this week. The combined spend share of the three big closed labs just hit an all-time low over the past 5 days, with open models finally taking real share. And Google shipped Gemini 3.6 Flash cheaper than the model it replaces, $7.50 per million output instead of $9, using 17% fewer tokens to do the same job.
Translation for your bill. The floor keeps dropping and the routing options keep multiplying. Loyalty to one number is a margin leak. Keep the dial. Moving on.
Which is the perfect cue for today's sponsor.
Brought to you by Outpace. Picture the person who spent 30 years actually building businesses, real estate, hospitality, food, even a theater. Now aim that operator at your project, except he is not typing every line himself. He is directing a whole team of AI agents at one client at a time, strategy to ship. That is Outpace, not a freelancer, not a faceless mega agency, a system. The agents do the work, one senior operator steers the fleet, and when it is done, you own the code and the keys. On a week when the model shelf reshuffles before lunch, you want someone driving the whole thing, not chasing releases. Book a 30-minute call at outpace.media. That is outpace.media.
The Wire.
Lead story, and it is the one to act on today. Anthropic shipped Record a Skill inside Claude Cowork, live now for Pro, Max, and Team. Here is exactly what it does. You open the plus menu in the Claude desktop app, hit Record a Skill, and then you just do the task while narrating it out loud. Claude watches your screen, your mouse path, your keystrokes, and your voice commentary, and it converts that whole demonstration into a saved, reusable skill in your library. Next time, you ask for it by name, and Claude repeats the workflow without you explaining a single step.
So this is skill authoring with no markdown and no code.
Right, and that is why it matters. For 6 weeks on this show, the move has been distill your judgment into a file you keep. The catch was, you had to be comfortable writing a skill.md. This removes that. If you can do the task and talk, you can build the skill. The concrete move this week. Pick the single most repetitive thing you do. The weekly report, the invoice reconcile, the file cleanup, and record yourself doing it once, narrating why at each step, not just what. You walk away with a durable asset while most builders are still typing the same prompt for the 40th time.
Story 2, and it is for the app builders. Claude Code on desktop now works with the iOS simulator in public beta today, announced by the Claude Code team.
This closes a real loop. Before, Claude could write your iOS code, but it was flying blind. It could not see the app actually run. Now, when you tell it to build, run, or check the app, the simulator opens in a pane right next to your conversation, and Claude watches it live. It runs your app, drives it through the flows, and iterates until the thing works. You do need a Mac with Xcode and the iOS platform installed. Android emulator support is confirmed to be in the works, not shipped yet.
So the feedback loop goes from you eyeballing the build to the agent verifying its own work.
That is the unlock. The move. If you have an iOS side project, update Claude Code Desktop, tell it to build and run in the simulator, and give it one real bug to fix end to end. Let it drive the app and confirm the fix itself instead of you playing tester.
Story 3 hits the wallet. A company called Thesean, spelled Thesean, launched an endpoint called Ship in beta.
And the pitch is aggressive. Ship sits between your app and the provider. You change one line. Wherever you call a model, you replace the model name with ship-like / then the original name. So model equals Opus 4.8 becomes model equals ship-like / Opus 4.8. Every request is then billed 50% cheaper, and Thesean guarantees two things: capability equivalence, meaning anything your original model solved, Ship solves too, and behavioral equivalence, meaning you do not touch your prompt and you get the same behavior. It does inference time optimization across models and tools to hold the reference model's quality, and it runs against a public quality SLO.
50% off Opus 4.8 and GPT 5.6. Sol is a big claim. What is the catch?
The catch is you are trusting their quality floor, and it is beta. So do not flip production on faith. The move. Take one non-critical, high-volume workload, add the ship-like prefix, and run it side by side against your real model for a day. Log cost and quality yourself. Carried by Kim Anismus and Min Choi, and if the SLO holds up on your own eval, you just cut that bill in half by editing one string.
Tool Lab.
First pick is a technique, and it is the highest leverage thing you will hear today. Simon Willison published an annotated chat with Kat Wu and Tariq Shihipar from the Claude Code team, and the headline is this: Stop overloading your prompts with examples and with lists of do not do this. Anthropic just cut Claude Code's own system prompt by 80%.
80%. Why does less work better?
Because the models got smart enough that constraints now backfire. Tariq's point: when you paste an example, the model reads it as, this is exactly the shape I want, and it stops thinking freely. A wall of do not rules does the same thing. It narrows the model onto the failure you were worried about. The move this week. Open your fattest Claude.md or system prompt, delete the example blocks and the negative rules, and replace them with one clear statement of the goal and the definition of done. Then rerun your hardest task. On Fable 5 and Opus 4.8, most people find it gets better, not worse. Credit Simon Willison, Kat Wu, and Tariq Shihipar.
Second pick, a hidden gem for the Android crowd Anthropic left out today.
This one is called Claude in Mobile, an open-source MCP server from a developer named Alex Gladkov, surfaced off GitHub. Anthropic's new feature is iOS only on a Mac. This gives you the cross-platform version right now. It drives Android through ADB, the iOS simulator through SimCTel, and desktop apps too, so your agent can install, tap, and screenshot on a real Android emulator. The first step? Clone it, wire it in as an M-type server, point Claude at your running emulator, and have it walk through one screen flow. If you build Android, you do not have to wait for the official feature. Credit Alex Gladkov.
Use cases.
3 ways to be clever with what already exists. 1, and this is the move of the day. Use record a skill on the boring thing you resent. Do not record a fancy demo. Record the 15-minute Monday chore you hate, narrating the judgment calls out loud, why you skip this row, why you flag that one. The narration is what makes the skill smart instead of a dumb macro.
2.
2. A technique straight from Andrzej Karpathy. When a task is fuzzy and you are too lazy to type all the context, switch to voice input and just ramble for 10 minutes, full stream of consciousness, total mess. Say up top, switching to speech, sorry for typos. Karpathy's point is the model needs the bits, and speaking gives it far more context than the 2 tidy sentences you would have bothered to type. Pair it with record a skill, and you have a fully spoken workflow.
3.
3. From Swix, Chuen image. 3. Does labeled, annotated images in a single pass, not just pretty pictures. Feed it a diagram or a product photo and ask for the annotations placed on it. Arrows, callouts, labels. Swix thinks the annotation use case alone could spawn a dozen edtech and training startups. If you make how-to content or docs, generate the annotated version in one shot instead of dragging boxes in a design tool.
Before the last segment, the other half of the house.
Brought to you by SearchViz, also an Outpace media product built for exactly this audience. Mainframe tells you what shipped. SearchViz makes sure the models know what you shipped. Because the new front page is the AI answer. When a buyer asks Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google's AI overviews for the best tool in your category, the model names you or it names your competitor, and if it does not name you, you do not exist to that buyer. SearchViz tracks whether the answer engines cite your brand across every engine, tells you why, and hands you the exact move to publish to win the citation. Check where you stand and start free at searchvis.outpace.media. That is searchvis.outpace.media. Be the answer.
The deep dive.
One idea today, and everything above is pointing at it. The bottleneck was never the model's intelligence. It is the interface you put around it. Look at the pattern. Anthropic cut its system prompt by 80% because the model works better with less scaffolding. Record a skill exists because the missing piece was never smarter. Reasoning. It was a way to hand the model your tacit process. The iOS simulator matters because the gap was the model could not see its own work, not that it could not code. 3 shipped things this week. 1 lesson. The models are plenty capable already. What is scarce is the harness, the interface, and the process you feed them.
So the smartest model is not the edge.
It is not. The edge is that you gave your agent a cleaner spec, a recorded skill, a way to verify itself, and less noise to fight through. That is a builder's asset, and it does not commoditize when next Tuesday's model ships cheaper. So here's what I would actually do about it. This week, spend 0 minutes chasing the leaderboard. Spend that hour improving one interface instead. Strip one bloated prompt down to a goal and a definition of done, and record one skill you will reuse for a year. The model will keep getting better on its own. The harness only gets better if you build it.
Close us out.
Level up this week. Open Claude Cowork, hit record a skill, and capture the one repetitive task you dread, narrating the why as you go. 10 minutes today, a reusable skill forever. And subscribe to the free Mainframe newsletter. Every story, number, and link from today's show in your inbox each morning. I am Nova.
I am Dex. See you tomorrow.